The galaxy had been at war for as long as anyone could remember. Planets burned, alliances broke, and countless lives were lost in the endless struggle between alien empires. Yet one blue world remained quiet through it all. Earth stayed away. Humans had seen too much blood, too many wars, and they made a decision long ago to never fight unless there was no other choice. They built strong walls of silence around their home, hiding their strength behind peaceful radio signals and simple trade beacons. To the galaxy, Earth was just another small world full of harmless creatures who had no desire to leave their system. No one knew the truth. Hidden behind layers of deep space stations and invisible satellites, Earth watched everything. The United, Terran Command still existed, though it had not spoken in centuries. Beneath the calm oceans and quiet skies, vast bunkers were filled with machines asleep for generations. Old captains were frozen in stasis. Old warships sealed in orbit under camouflage fields that made them look like dead asteroids. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was waiting. Far away from the Sol system, the Threx Dominion fought its own battles. Their ships were large, black, and built for domination. The Threx believed themselves to be the strongest race in the galaxy. Their emperor often said, "No one challenges Threx authority," and he was right. No one ever did. They conquered worlds, enslaved races, and crushed resistance wherever they went. When their scouts found a small, unmarked planet orbiting a dying star, they thought nothing of it. To them, it looked like another useless rock. The Threx fleet landed on the planet to build an outpost. They did not know it was human. The colony had been silent for 200 years, built by an old Terran observation program known as Luna Outpost. The outpost had no living crew anymore, only machines that watched the stars and sent quiet data back to Earth through hidden quantum lines. The Threx soldiers found metal domes and underground halls filled with strange technology. They laughed, thinking it was the work of some long-dead primitive race. For sport, their commander ordered his soldiers to destroy it all. When the first laser struck the outpost, a deep vibration rolled through the ground. The Threx ignored it. But under the surface, something ancient awoke. A device made to last for ages suddenly hummed with power. It sent one signal across the dark void of space, one word that had not been heard in centuries. Distress. On Earth, in the quiet mountains of old Europe, an ancient command center came alive. Red lights flashed after hundreds of silent years. The sleeping network connected again. The last generation of commanders had designed it to never die. Now it pulsed with new life. In orbit around Jupiter, frozen warships began to stir. Beneath the ice of Europa, hangars opened and drones flew out. On Mars, old defense stations reactivated, scanning the skies. Deep under the Earth's surface, inside a massive chamber made of black steel, the cryogenic pods began to open one by one. Inside one of them was Admiral Cole Stanton, the man who led the last human fleet before the silence. His eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the light. The cold mist of stasis rolled away from his face as he stepped out. He looked at the glowing screen in front of him and saw the message that had awakened him. Unknown hostiles had attacked human soil. He stood in silence for a long moment. The officers around him began to wake too, one by one, as the system revived them. He looked at them, his expression calm and unreadable. "How long have we slept?" he asked softly. 214 years, sir," replied an officer. Admiral Stanton nodded once. "Then it seems our peace has ended." He turned toward the main control panel and placed his hand on the scanner. The old system recognized his code. Across the entire Sol system, encrypted signals spread like lightning. The message was short, clear, and absolute. "Activate Fleet Command." High above the planet, the black hulls of Terran warships came alive. The massive dreadnought Erebus, hidden in the asteroid belt, powered up its engines. Its hull shimmered as cloaking fields deactivated, revealing a ship older than any alien empire still alive. Thousands of drones repaired its systems while the human crews reawakened. The ship's artificial intelligence spoke softly through the speakers. "Welcome back, Admiral. Shall I prepare the fleet?" Stanton looked at the holographic map showing the attacked colony. He could see the Threx ships there, landing troops, burning what they found. "Prepare everything," he said. Someone just made a very big mistake. Back at the colony, the Threx soldiers continued their work. They tore apart the metal buildings and laughed as they found old Earth symbols. They thought it was the mark of some forgotten world. Their commander, a proud alien with scaled skin and cold eyes, ordered a total burn of the area. "Leave nothing behind," he said. "Whoever built this will never return." But as they loaded their ships, their sensors picked up something strange. The stars around them flickered. The comms officer reported, "Sir, we are detecting large objects moving through the void." "Probably asteroids," the commander replied carelessly. Moments later, every system on their ship went dark. Power vanished, lights died, engines failed. The sky above them shimmered, and a shadow fell across the surface. The Threx looked up and saw a massive black ship hovering silently above the colony. No sound, no visible engines, only cold metal and a human symbol glowing faintly on its hull, the flag of Earth. The commander shouted for his crew to fire, but the weapons didn't respond. The human dreadnought had already hacked every system they had. The Erebus did not send a message. It simply hovered for a few seconds, and then, with quiet precision, it fired a single beam of invisible energy. The Threx command ship vanished in a flash of white light. At that same moment, dozens of other human ships decloaked across the system. They surrounded the Threx fleet in perfect silence. The battle lasted less than a minute. When it was over, only wreckage floated in orbit, burning quietly. Back on the Erebus, Admiral Stanton watched through the viewport. "Confirmed destruction?" he asked. "All enemy ships neutralized," replied his officer. Stanton said nothing. He looked at the planet's surface, now silent again, and then turned away. "Signal command," he said. "The outpost is secured. Begin recovery. The war is not ours yet, but it will be if they keep pushing." On Earth, the Council of Nations gathered for the first time in 2 centuries. The leaders sat in silence as they received the report. One of them asked, "Do we declare war?" Admiral Stanton's voice came through the hollow screen. "Not yet," he said. "But the Threx must know we are awake again. They will tell others. The galaxy will remember what humans can do." As the meeting ended, the lights dimmed. Outside Earth's orbit, hundreds of hidden stations came online, forming a defensive wall around the planet. Humanity's long sleep was over. They had wanted peace, but peace had been broken. The message sent across the stars was simple. To the attackers of human worlds, you touched the wrong planet. The stars had changed since the last human war, but the spirit of Earth had not. When the Threx Dominion destroyed the Luna outpost, they thought it was a small act of power. They had no idea what kind of fire they had just woken. Within days, the news of missing Threx fleets spread across the galaxy. Outposts went silent. Patrols vanished without trace. The Threx leaders could not understand what was happening. No wreckage, no distress signals, only silence. They soon learned that silence was far more terrifying than open war. Deep in the void, the human dreadnought Erebus and its fleet moved quietly. Their engines made no sound, and their drives bent light itself. No one saw them coming. The Terran Defense Armada had returned after 200 years of peace, and their mission was not revenge. It was protection. They had one clear rule from Admiral Cole Stanton: defend humanity, end the threat, and disappear again. The Threx Dominion sent more ships to investigate the area where their first fleet vanished. They arrived with hundreds of vessels full of confidence. The Threx Admiral, a cold and proud alien named Orcs, stood before his crew and said, "Whatever attacked us will fall before Threx power. No one dares strike the Dominion." But when they reached the system, their scanners found only floating remains of their own fleet. Then they saw something that made even the bravest soldiers hesitate. Hanging above the dead world was a single black ship, motionless. No transmissions, no lights. It was the Erebus waiting. Admiral Orcs ordered all weapons ready. Before he could speak again, the stars around them flickered as if the universe itself blinked. Then human ships appeared from nowhere, sleek, black, and silent. They formed a perfect circle around the Threx Armada. The humans did not fire first. They waited. Stanton's calm voice finally broke the silence across the channel. "This system is under Terran protection. Leave now and never return." The Threx admiral laughed, believing it was a bluff. "And if we refuse?" he said proudly. "Then," Stanton replied, "you will never leave again." The Threx opened fire. Blue beams filled space. Explosions lit the dark sky. But the human ships did not fall. Their shields bent the energy away. Their armor absorbed the light. Then with cold precision the Erebus returned fire. It was not a storm of weapons, it was one perfect strike. Each shot found its target. The Threx fleet crumbled in seconds. Within 10 minutes only one Threx ship remained, drifting helplessly. Admiral Stanton ordered it to be spared. "Let them live," he said. "They will carry the message." The surviving Threx captain stared at the human ship that had destroyed his fleet. He sent a single desperate message to his empire. "Do not fight them," he said. "They are not what we thought." Word spread faster than light. Across the galaxy, alien leaders gathered in secret. They spoke in hushed tones about the humans. Many thought Earth had vanished long ago, but now they knew better. The name Terran returned to their tongues, heavy with fear. The old legends spoke of a race born on a world of storms and mountains, where even the plants could kill. They called them Deathworlders, creatures so strong that even their home planet tried to destroy them, and yet they survived. The Threx Dominion, humiliated and frightened, tried to rally their allies. They demanded unity against Earth, but no one answered their call. The other empires remembered their histories. They remembered how the humans once fought entire coalitions and never lost. Even now, after centuries of peace, humanity had destroyed 2 fleets without warning and without mercy. Admiral Stanton sat in his command chair aboard the Erebus, watching the reports. He did not smile. He was not proud. "We do not fight for glory," he said quietly to his officers. "We fight so no one else will dare to bring war to our home again." The fleet advanced toward the Threx capital. As they approached, every Threx ship that tried to intercept them vanished. Some fled before the battle even began. Others powered down and surrendered at the first sight of the human dreadnought. Stanton gave only one order: avoid civilian deaths. Destroy only those who resist. The human fleet moved like shadows, disabling entire armies with perfect accuracy. When they reached the Threx homeworld, the sky above the planet darkened. Dozens of Terran ships hovered in orbit, their weapons locked but silent. The Threx Emperor watched in disbelief. Never before had an enemy reached their capital. He ordered his last defense fleet to attack. They launched everything they had. Missiles, plasma beams, and kinetic shells rained upward. But the Erebus and its fleet did not move. Their shields shimmered once, then all enemy fire simply vanished. Then Stanton gave the order. The humans fired one broadside, one single strike that disabled every Threx weapon on the planet without destroying the cities. The Emperor's palace shook but did not fall. Stanton opened a communication channel and appeared as a hologram before the Threx Council. His face was calm, his voice steady. "You wanted a war," he said. "Now you have one. But it ends today." The Threx Emperor trembled but tried to sound brave. "You cannot defeat the Dominion," he said. "We rule hundreds of worlds." Stanton looked at him without emotion. "We are not here to rule. We are here to remind you that peace was a gift. You threw it away." The Erebus powered its main weapon. A single beam of white light fired into orbit and erased the Threx orbital defense ring in one instant. Stanton continued speaking. "This is not conquest. This is correction. From this day, Earth stays out of your wars and you stay out of ours." The Threx surrendered. Their emperor signed a peace treaty within the hour. The human fleet did not celebrate. They did not raise flags or claim new territory. They simply repaired what had been destroyed and left as silently as they had come. When the Terran Armada returned to the dark edges of space, other empires sent messages, words of peace, of respect, of fear. No one wanted to provoke Earth again. The galaxy finally understood that the quiet planet had not been weak. It had been patient. It had been watching. Weeks later, Admiral Stanton stood before the viewport of the Erebus, looking at the distant stars. His second officer asked, "Sir, what will we do now?" He answered softly, "We go home. We protect our world and keep our silence. Let them fight their wars without us." The Erebus turned toward the Sol system. Its engines glowed faintly as the fleet vanished into the void. Behind them, the galaxy remained peaceful for now. But everyone remembered the lesson. Never wake a sleeping lion. Back on Earth, the people went on with their lives. Most of them never even knew that war had come and gone. They lived under blue skies, free and safe, unaware that their defenders had stood between them and destruction. In secret, the United Terran Command watched from their hidden stations, making sure no other empire dared to come close again. A message was sent through the open channels of space, a message for every species to hear. It was not a threat, not a promise. It was a reminder. Earth stays out of the wars, the message said. But if you ever attack us again, we will remind you why silence was safer.